Hi everybody, I'm Natalie with Missouri Star Quilt Company and I'm here with Misty today.
Hey guys.
It's double take week and we have some great projects.
We do. So we are prepping for Halloween. Even though it's
right.
only August, we're going to get a head start on our Halloween projects. And so we've got some great Halloween fabric we're using today.
Yeah, I think they both turned out really cute. They've got a little bit of slow stitching in them.
Exactly.
So fun stuff. Let's get started.
All right, so it looks like I'm up first today, and I made this little table runner. I called it the Harvest Crossroads
I love
runner.
it.
I think it turned out super, super cute. And so to make this project, you are going to need one package of 5-inch squares, and I use this adorable Spooky Stitches by Robin Kingsley for Maywood. It's just an adorable line. You're also going to need a 1/2 yard of accent fabric, and that includes your little sashing and your border here. And then 1/3 yard of background. I use this beautiful cream. For your backing, you need 1.5 yards, and I use the small Wing and Wedge template. So let me show you how to make this. All right, so this is the block that we're gonna make for our little runner.
I love it.
Thank you. I think it turned out super cute, and it's really simple to make. We're gonna start from the middle and work our way kind of out. And so I chose from the line, they have these great little kind of white and black prints that I thought were so cute for the center. And so I just picked my 3 favorites, and so we'll use that first. And then from our accent fabric, which remember that was this cute little, it looks like it's got little hourglasses printed in there.
So cute.
It's adorable. So you're gonna cut a 1-inch strip off of your accent fabric, and then we are going to subcut that into 5-inch rectangles and 6-inch rectangles. So I'll let you add
one on each side.
One on each side first, and then we'll add these after.
Press it and do tops and bottoms.
Exactly.
I imagine since they're kind of small pieces, we want to be real consistent
As
here.
consistent as you can be. Maybe make your 1/4 inch just a little scant.
A little on the narrow side. Easier to trim.
That's exactly right than to have to add more.
Go.
Beautiful. So then I will just set those and roll them back. Same on the other side. Oops. Get those to lay as flat as I can for you. And then we'll go back and add our 6-inch strips.
Top and bottom.
Top and bottom.
Cool.
There we go.
Thank you.
You bet.
Yeah,
so it doesn't fall.
One more. Almost done.
You're good. Beautiful. All right. We'll give that a press. Roll those back. And then if you needed to square this up, they should end up 6 inches. Your centers should be 6-inch squares.
Excellent.
And so then from there, we can move on to these outer corners. And so we're just going to make some easy 4 patches.
Okay.
And so you're going to pick 2 matching sets of your 5-inch squares. And so I have half of these already done, but we'll put these right sides together. And then if you want to sew on opposite sides to begin with.
I like the line work, how it looks like little stitches.
I know, it's so cute. Fun little details. So she'll just flip that around. So a 1/4 inch seam on the opposite side now.
I love these little hacks.
Yep, just saves us a little bit of time. And so then now I will measure over 2.5 inches, cut this right in half, and then we'll press these open to the dark side. All right, and so then I'm gonna put them right sides together, but I wanna make sure that I have opposite fabrics touching and that those middle seams are gonna kind of lock in place. And then we're just gonna repeat what we did before and sew a 1/4 inch seam on both of these two sides.
Excellent.
And this little hat gives us 2 little perfect 4.5 inch 4 patches.
These are all done.
Perfect. So we will cut these in half again.
Okay.
And these are still 5 inches wide, so we're measuring over 2.5 inches. And then we're going to press these open. And we are actually going to need to pare these down to 4 inches. So once I get these pressed, we will use our little ruler here.
All right. I find personally 4 patches are kind of difficult for me to square.
They can be. Just like, you know, hourglasses and half square triangles, they all have different little hacks.
Yep.
And so because I know these need to be 4 inches and I want the 4 patch to be centered,
right,
I'm going to put my 2 inch mark running this way and this way. And so that's what I'm checking first, just making sure that they're lined up. And so we'll cut here and here. And then we can spin our little 4 patch around. And that edge should line up right on the 4, and we should still have our 2 inches running up and down.
On the crisscross on the seam line.
Exactly.
That's so great.
So there's that one, and we'll square one more here.
They do come out so nice.
They do. And sometimes it's just really nice to know that if you're not super precise, you're going to square it and you don't have to worry about it. You can just enjoy the process. And so we're going to make sure that's right on our 4. I have these little mantras that I double check. It's like, this is square, these are straight. And then I know I'm good. It's always better to double check before you cut it. Beautiful. All right. And so like I said, you would repeat that with another matching set. I went ahead and already did that. So I've got all 4 of these.
You have all your pieces.
Exactly. And so now we can move on to our little wing and wedge. And so up first, we are going to cut, I believe this is a 4.5 inch strip. Let me make sure I tell you right. Yes. So we're going to cut a 4.5 inch strip of our background fabric, and then we are going to use it to cut out our wedge. So I have this folded because I'm using solids and it doesn't matter. And it wouldn't matter really either way because you're flipping it back and forth. But I'm going to make this first cut. I can turn this around and cut this out. And then you just flip this back and forth down the length of your strip to get all these little wedges that you need. It makes it really easy. All right. Now that we have those wedges cut, we can go ahead and cut our little wing template. And so in order to do that, you're going to take 2 matching 5 inch squares. I just picked some of the oranges that I liked for my star legs. Nice. And I'm going to give you a little tip on how to cut these, because you'll notice here that the star legs are going in opposite directions. So we actually need to use both sides of the template in order to do that. But I'll give you a little hack that helps with fabric management anyway. And, you know, make sure that we get the pieces that we need.
Perfect.
So to begin with, we are going to cut our 5 inch squares in half so that we have 2.5 by 5 inch rectangles. And I'm only doing this to 1 because I have some of these already ready to go, but you get the idea. And then we're going to place these right sides together or opposite sides together. It just needs to be facing in opposite directions. So we're going to do that first. And then I'm going to use my template here, and I'm going to start by placing it all the way in this bottom corner, and we're going to make this one long cut first. And I really recommend doing this because it can get really tight on the fabric, but you can make it work if you do it this way. And so this way you'll notice now when we open these up, these are going opposites. That's what we
Perfect.
want.
They frame that triangle.
That's right. And so then we can flip this one around and do the same thing. Just slide it in that bottom corner and then cut off our little notches. So we'll do that like so. And again, when we open them up, we have our opposite angles. So that's what you're looking for. And so now we can pull in a couple of our wedges.
Okay.
And let's flip this around. And I like to chain piece these.
Yes.
And so we'll just lay this on here. And I will let you sew one.
All right.
And then we'll put this guy on right behind.
Cool.
Beautiful.
All right.
So now we can just finger press these
Oh, okay, cool.
because really the only overlap is right there at the point.
Yeah, and it's a small little
Tiny
seam.
little spot. And
Okay.
so then we just want these to be going in opposites.
All right.
So
Do we have any marks to match up?
So
or-
my best advice is this little notch, if you meet it right where that other one ends, that's
perfect.
That's the best.
All right.
So, and it's not going to be perfect, but we're actually going to square these a little bit too. So if
You're
it gets
good,
a little
you're
bit
good.
off,
Excellent.
we don't have to worry.
No reason to stress.
That's exactly right. Beautiful.
There you go.
All right, let me give these a good press now. Okay, here's one. Okay, beautiful. All right, and now we can square these. And so I'm going to begin by cutting off this little bottom edge. I like to make sure I still have a 1/4 inch from that center point there so we don't lose that. And then we can trim off any of this overhang that is there.
Yeah.
And then we want these to be 4 inches tall. So let me turn this so it's right for my brain. That's right. So we'll trim off that little bit. And then now we need to center this so that, because we want it to be 3.5 inches wide. So this
Okay.
is the part that's a little bit tricky.
All right.
And so I need,
So you're lining up the center point of your leg. Your
exactly, and
legs.
it needs to hit 1 3/4 inches.
Okay.
And so I'm looking there, that should be 1 3/4. And so I'm just gonna make this first cut here. 1 3/4, double checking, trim that off, and then I'm gonna spin it around, lining up 1 3/4 at the top here. Should come over to 3.5, and it does, and trimming that. There we go. And so we'll
Awesome.
repeat that same process. Trim the bottom first, making sure we still have our 1/4 inch. There we go. And then these are 4 inches tall. And measure 1 3/4 from the center. Here we go. Make sure I'm straight. And 3.5. Beautiful. Okay. So once we have all of those done, you should have 4 that look just like that, that measure 3.5 by 4. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a 2 3/4 inch strip of our background
Okay.
and a 1 3/4 inch strip of our accent. And we're going to sew them together in a strip set like you see here. And then we're going to subcut this into 1 3/4 inch rectangles. So I have got this here. Beautiful. Because we are going to add these to both sides of our star legs. All right. And so then now you can sew these one after the other. You do want the little black square to be at the wider side of your star leg. That's what you're looking for.
Awesome.
So I'll let you sew those, and then we'll add them to the other side as well.
These are just so cute.
It's a really, really fun fabric line. I love all the little details in it.
Okay.
And there's those. Almost there.
Real close, real close.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right, beautiful.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. For some reason, that just seemed like the easiest way to do it.
Absolutely.
All right, so then we will press these open. If we have done it all correctly, they should measure 6 by 4, which I
Perfect.
think we've done great. So we'll press those. And I had the other 2 already done, so I've got all 4 of them ready now. And so now that we have all of the units of our block complete, we can assemble it. So let's go ahead and do that. We will take our cute little bordered square and then bring in our star legs that are going to go on all 4 sides of that. And then our 4 patches will come in, and the oranges are going to go towards the center, just like so. And then when we sew it together, it looks just like this.
That's
It's
so cute.
Such a cute block. I really, really enjoy it.
I love
And
it.
I loved how it came together. I do want to point out one other fun thing about this collection though. So there is this adorable panel
Nice.
that comes with it. And after I designed this,
Do you want me to help hold it up?
sure, yeah. It's so cute. It's got these
It
like
really
little
is
cheater blocks and
cute.
some kind of faux embroidery.
You could almost just stitch this together and make a whole quilt out of it.
Exactly. It's adorable. And so you can actually cut these to 6-inch squares and use it to replace this whole center like I did there. And so
Yeah.
here's a block that we made. It's so cute.
It's so cute.
And so you'll notice I went ahead and just embroidered right on top of where it was printed with just a little bit of black pearl cotton, and I think it just looks adorable in the middle.
That's
so
really cute.
Another fun option if you want to take it a step further. All right, so again, here is my little runner.
It's so cute.
Thank you. It finishes at, let me see, 16.5 by 45.5, so it's a great little size. And I do want to point out, you'll notice these little sashings. That comes from your accent fabric.
Right.
And so that's just a 2.5-inch strip by the size of the block. And then these little cornerstones are just from extra 5-inch squares. There's plenty in the pack to get them out of
Nice,
that.
nice.
So easy peasy, quilted it with spider webs.
It's so cute.
And that's it.
All right, I'm up next.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so it is my turn. This is my quilt.
Oh, it's so cute, Nat.
I love it. I'm calling it Mystic Stitches because, you know, it has a little bit of embroidery. We have
Right.
these great new stitch packs for Halloween called Stitch or Treat.
Oh my
And
gosh.
they're so cute,
I
you
love
guys.
the
I had
little
so much
broom
fun
and
doing all
bats.
these things.
Oh, and this is so darling.
Yep. So we've got my wing and wedge here and then my stitches. It's going to be great, and I will show you how to make it.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so to make this quilt, you're gonna need some 10-inch squares, and I use this really fun Halloween line called Boo-tiful by Michael Miller. You'll also need some background fabric, just a 1/2 yard, and a little bit of border. I did a 3-inch of this fun lightning print.
so
I love
cute.
it. And this fabric is just my favorite. So it ended up on the back. You will
Gorgeous.
need about 1 yard and 1/8 for your back, because it's just a little wall hanging, super cute.
Easy.
We're gonna need our wing templates, and I used the large wing and wedge. You're going to need a triangle tool for half square triangles. And so I've got both of these. I'll show either one or both of them actually. And that's just about it.
All right.
Your
perfect.
embroidery supplies, if you're going to add the embroidery, it's totally optional. You can make this quilt without embroidery if you don't, if you're not into that. You could add some fun applique up there. You could snowball the block, whatever you want to do. It's
just
blank
a fun
space.
option. Yeah.
That's right.
Perfect.
Okay, so let's get started. We're going to do our classic draw the line both directions and stitch on both sides of both lines.
Okay. I will do it.
And to make one of these, you really only need about 4 pieces of fabric. So you'll have a lot left over, or you can mix them up and make them scrappy. It's a lot of stuff to work with. But if you have 4 prints in your stash at home that maybe you want to give it a try before you commit to making a full-size quilt, or
Sure.
It's awfully easy and super cute.
There's one.
This one first. One more stitch.
One more side here. Okay.
All right. So the rule of thumb here is to cut those lines that you can't see, the invisible cuts. We're going to do a vertical and then a horizontal, because then where the lines have been drawn, if anything were to get moved around, you could then just do these individually, like so. Or you can take your Clearly Perfect and kind of cut them off of each other. It's a little bit more complicated to do that. Mm-hmm. I would go ahead and use this to just trim them separately. Oops, I've got a little nick in this ruler.
Turn it.
Here we go. So you really only need 4 to make your wall hanging. These can be trimmed up and set aside for another project, or just set aside for now. That's what we're going to do. So I'll do 2 of these with the Clearly Perfect, and these are 4 inches.
Okay.
And that is to match up with our little wing wedge block. So we'll trim these down to 4 and press them. And then we're going to make a nice little pinwheel for the middle of this
here
block.
And press for you.
Oh, sure. Thank you.
You bet. I was just sitting there. Gives me something to do.
Keeps us all working.
That's right.
Okay. Alrighty, and if you would press these open, then I will square them with the other tool.
Okay, perfect.
And we'll put together a cute little pinwheel for the middle.
Sounds good.
This goes so fast. The slowest part is the stitching on the embroidery blocks. And I love to just do that when I'm relaxing outside or watching television, or, anytime.
Me too.
Take it with me in the car.
Yep.
All right, so again, I'm going to have my 1 inch in my top right corner, and then I'm going to line up my seam line on the diagonal 45-degree angle line. We're going for 4 inches, so there's plenty of room here to get a nice straight cut. So we'll cut our first corner, flip that around, and put that right into the 4. There we go. All done. One more. Alrighty. Flip that around, keeping that 45-degree angle on your seam line, and then matching it up with the 4-inch square. Cool. Okay, I'm going to set those aside for now, and we will make our wing and wedge blocks.
Okay.
So for these 2, we're going to take our 2 prints, and we're going to put them right sides together.
Okay.
And then I just drew a line right down the middle of this, because because what we're going to do is we're going to stitch both of these,
Okay.
and then we're going to sew on both sides of this middle line.
Okay. This looks like a fun trick.
It's cute. It makes it nice and easy. You actually get enough to make 2 of these full size,
cool.
like because of the way that we're using our fabric. It's pretty efficient.
That's awesome. Got a little narrow. I think I'm gonna do that
That's
again.
not a big deal.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I'm just
Because we're using the
You're
wedge
gonna trim it?
on the line, like that's the,
Okay.
there's plenty of room.
And so then on both sides of the middle as well.
Yep. Just a little efficiency hack.
Perfect. Okay.
All right. So now we will go ahead and cut this apart on the line. And we have 2 sets that are here ready to go. And what we're going to do, we're going to grab our wedge and we are going to line up right on that seam line and cut them in half. Now you can go down to the bottom if you like. I like to just have a good clean edge down there.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. And then this gets cut right off. And I usually will come back and cut this because I don't like that part just to hang
all the
off
extra
up there.
bulk.
Yeah. And so then this is our center,
Oh, cute.
and it's got its little double side. So we
Okay.
can press that
All
open.
right, I'll work on that.
Cool, cool. Same thing here. Trim that off. And then we will do the same over here.
That is a super fun little trick.
Well, I like how these combine with the pinwheel to create this cute little block.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of room for trimming. Okay. All right, so onto the background fabric, if we're good for that. We're going to keep all 4 of these together. And we want them to be all the same, which you just keep your fabric right side up and keep cutting it the same direction and you should be just fine. So we're at this point, we can cut 4 10-inch squares to do our embroidery.
Okay.
And if you're not going to use embroidery, these are just your background squares, no big deal. If you are not doing embroidery, you can cut them to 8.5.
Okay.
8.5 is the finished size. I cut them at 10 before embroidery so that I have room for a little bit of stretching, and you've got to wash off the stabilizer. It has to go in the hoop, and you need enough to
square
cover
it up
the hoop.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So if you're doing embroidery, these are 10 inches. If you are not, they're 8.25. All right. So I have some
8.25 or 8.5?
I'm sorry. You're correct. 8.5.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure.
Yep. 8.5 inches square, and I have some of these already cut. So these ones are 8.5. They're ready for your borders, or your, not border, corners.
Your corners.
These are ready for the corners. All right, so then you're gonna cut a 4-inch strip, and I like to keep these together because like when you were cutting, you need them to go both directions.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is this is background fabric. It's gonna be the same on both sides, so it's not as big of a deal. But the way that I get around that is by having them, I just keep them
They're
folded.
stacked, yeah.
Yeah, and stack them up. So you'll cut that 4-inch strip, and then we're gonna just go along here and cut some wing and wedge pieces, some wedge pieces. This is the wing piece.
The wing.
The wing. And you'll need 4, so you've got to have some going the opposite direction. I believe this will fit, but nope, I cut it a little too close. That's okay. It'll fit over here. As long as I line it up right, and I've got to make sure it's, there we go. Okay. So these go on either side of our little wedge pieces. And I did all of mine with an orange on one side, kind of a layout. So we'll start with one here. Stitch it down and press them out. I'll give you two. I have a couple made in the other fabrics, so we can have a little bit of variety.
Little variety.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
These. I can just finger press these, or
Yeah, you can, because it's just really that top edge that you've got to worry about right off the bat. And then these ones, you want them to continue to stay square, so that goes on that side.
Okay, perfect.
And then this one I'll line up for you. I really have gotten these confused a couple times when I was making the quilt. I had a little mishap.
Oh, you know,
and had to just take them off and flip them over and start again. It's okay.
It happens to all of us. So.
Yep.
There's that one.
Okay. I'm going to set the seam here. And we'll set that one. And then press them back.
Okay. There we go.
All right. I'll do this one as well. Okay, so just like Misty did, I am going to straighten the front edge, or the peak edge. Make sure I have 1/4 of an inch there. And then, oh, there it is. And then these end up being 7.5 by 8.5. So they're 7.5 wide and 8.5 long.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna do 8.5 this direction and just come up and cut about 1/2 inch off this end. And you can use a square if you want to. I'm fine using the mat and the ruler for now for this part. And then width-wise, it should be right at 7.5, which I'm just a little bit off right down there, but the rest of it matches, so I feel good about that.
We can make it work,
I'm gonna move these out of the way and make sure the rest of them line up. So I'll do a quick little trim here. Yep. Keep that straight. And then we'll go 7.5 or 8.5 down. It's easy to say the wrong number when you're thinking all the things. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. As long as you have a good idea of like what it's supposed to look like, you can use your visual checks.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. So now we have all of the components to build this block. So I'm going to do one like this, and I wanted my fabrics to match. So I did my little half square triangles or my pinwheels, so that they matched up with their colors.
To kind of continue the same colorway through.
Yep. So I'm putting these in opposite spots because I like them. I think it's really cute.
So cute.
There we go. Like so. And then we've got our corners that are 8.5. So this little pinwheel comes together and it is a 7.5 inch square, finished or unfinished.
Right.
And then these are all 8.5. So that's kind of how it's basically called an uneven 9 patch,
right,
when the middles are a different size than the outside corners. But it adds up really cool. It can be kind of a brain trick though. It might feel a little like
you got something wrong.
For sure it's not gonna match, but it really does.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so this is our layout. So really you just have to go ahead and stitch it all together. And then I added a 3-inch border to the outside edge.
So cute.
And had it machine quilted with Batman. I think it's such a cute little pattern. And it kept reminding me of all the little bats in these blocks. There's a bat in at least 2 of them.
Yes.
And I just thought it was so cute.
So cute. And I love this lightning print on the border.
Isn't it fun?
It's super fun.
It's really fun. Another thing I want to point out, so you don't get too concerned, in these little corners, there is just a tiny bit of space, about 1/4 of an inch on some of them. If they get close, like this one got really close, and then that one's a little farther away, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
It's built that way. It's okay for it to kind of poke out a little bit.
Yeah, and I think when you just make sure that this center
Yes,
matches.
I'm more worried about lining up my points here than I am out here. These ones are fine.
Exactly, because your eye's drawn to that anyway.
Yes.
So that makes great sense.
Yep. So it doesn't matter if you're, as we're trimming these, the 7.5 by 8.5, sometimes that space gets either higher or lower, which is basically why this would or wouldn't line up. But I don't worry about it. I think it's just fine, and it turned out really cute, and I hope you guys like it too.
It's adorable. Well done.
Awesome.
So thank you guys so much for joining us. We gave you 2 fun, quick projects for Halloween. I think
using the Wing and Wedge rulers.
That's right, exactly. So I hope you guys enjoyed this double take, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.